Good morning, St. Rayfield. This is Father John. Happy to be back with you. And I'm with you today in fourth grade. Now, fourth grade is a very big year here at St. Rayfield's for a couple different reasons. Number one is that we get to come upstairs. We get to get off the main level of the school and we get to come upstairs. And that's a huge transition for us. And also we begin to change classes. We have some classes here, we go across the hall, we go to different parts of the school. That's a really cool thing. And it's kind of telling us that we're beginning to make some progress as we make these transitions in the building. But at the same time, we are still called to go to school, right? We still have to do math, and we find out that math is about the same. And English is a little bit harder, but it's kind of the same thing. Or science, or lunch and recess, which are still the same, which is a good thing, because lunch and recess are awesome and amazing. But I was thinking about that today because this week we have had a lot of transitions. We're now learning online. We now have maybe mom and dad or our friends helping us to learn a little bit more. Perhaps we are now doing video conferences with our teachers. We've had a lot of transitions here in a very short time, about a week or so, that we've been making these transitions, and now we're at this point that things are hopefully starting to settle down a little bit. We're getting into a little bit of a groove. But there's been something that's been going on the whole time through spring break and through this week, and that's called the season of Lent. Lent is that time that we're still called to get closer to Christ. So we're supposed to get closer to Jesus during this time. And perhaps that this week of transitions and learning on our Chromebooks and doing different things, that maybe we've been kind of putting Lent in the background, or maybe even it started last week. And spring break, with spring break and everything, we're just like, I need to be doing that Lent thing, maybe that thing I gave up, or I need to pray a little bit more or be kinder, but we've just been putting it off. And now it's been a couple weeks and we're just like, let's just give Lent up. Don't give Lent up. We have 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks. 2 weeks from today is Holy Thursday. That's the beginning of the great 3 days leading to the passion and death and ultimately resurrection of Jesus. And we can spend these 2 weeks really well. So even if we've struggled this week or maybe last week or a little bit of both, that this week can be a huge, that this next week and the following week can be a huge change for us. A huge change where we can give these things back to God and we can begin to get back in that groove. One way might be, hey, I need to get back on my Lenten resolution. Thinking back to what I said that I was going to do at the beginning of Lent and kind of going back to it. Perhaps I say, that doesn't really work for me anymore. What can I do in these last 2 weeks to make this Lent more meaningful? Or perhaps that I'm doing pretty well with my Lenten resolution and I want to do something more. Maybe it's doing a little bit more prayer. Maybe it's taking some time to read a book about Jesus because I have a little bit more time. Maybe it's being kinder to people at home, whatever that might be. But through all these transitions, from being in school to spring break to now doing e-learning, Jesus is still here. And Lent is still here. Let's take time to make sure that we're focusing on that consistent thing through all these changes that are happening in our life right now. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.